Hi friends, up till now in EMT we have seen electrostatics, which is the study of stationary charges which give rise to constant electric field, and we have also seen magnetostatics, which is the study of steady current which gives rise to constant magnetic field. Now here in electrodynamics we are going to deal with changing electric and magnetic fields. That is, the electric field is a function of time and the magnetic field is also a function of time. To begin with, let's look at EMF first. EMF means electromotive force. Let's consider a simple circuit where let's say we have a bulb and we have some wires and we have a battery which is attached to it. You attach the battery and the bulb starts glowing, right? Now if you consider just this battery, then the potential difference across the two terminals of this battery is called as the EMF, which is denoted by E, when it is not connected to any external circuit. But when it is connected to the external circuit, the voltage reduces slightly due to internal resistance of the battery, and then the potential difference becomes the voltage. So we can say that this EMF is greater than or equal to the voltage. The unit of EMF is also volt, capital V, that is volt, and it is also given as integration F bar dot dl bar, where this F bar is the force and the current which arises because of this EMF can be written as epsilon divided by R, or E divided by R. Now we all know Faraday's law, right? Let's consider we have a region, a square region, in which the magnetic field is going into the plane. The magnetic field is going into the plane, and we have a circular loop across which, let's say we have connected here some resistance or some bulb, something like this across here. Okay, just a wire, that's it, nothing more. Sir Michael Faraday did various experiments in which he showed that a current can be induced in this loop by first pulling the loop through the magnetic field. We can keep the magnetic field here and pull this loop that side, then a current I will be induced in this loop. Second, by keeping the loop in its place is stationary, and we can move this region of magnetic field backwards, then also the current will be induced in the loop. And the third case, we can keep the loop still, but we can change the strength of this magnetic field in that region, then also current will be induced in the loop. Now this first case, which was pulling the loop, second case was loop was still or stationary and we moved the magnetic field, and third case is when we keep the loop still and we change the strength of the magnetic field. So this first case, which is pulling the loop, in this case, this first case will be like this. We are just pulling the loop and the current I will be induced. The EMF that arises when you move the wire in a constant magnetic field is known as the motional EMF. And here it is the magnetic force that is setting up this motional EMF. So we just saw the formula for EMF, which was closed integration F bar dot dl bar. So here this EMF is arising because of the magnetic force. So we can have here F magnetic, and we already know from Lorentz force law what is magnetic force, that is Q V cross B, right? So this can be integration V bar cross B bar dot dl bar. This is also equal to minus d phi by dt, where phi is the magnetic flux through the loop. So one formula we get is E equals to integration, close integration V bar cross dl bar, and the other we get is E is equal to minus d phi by dt. This is known as the flux rule for motional EMF. So whenever the magnetic flux through the loop will change, by whatever the reason, whenever the magnetic flux through the loop will change, an EMF will appear in the loop, and this EMF will give rise to the current I, because we know I is equal to epsilon divided by R. So if there is EMF, there will be E divided by R. So if there is, EMF divided by R. So where there is EMF, there will be current in the loop. Now in the second case, the loop is still, but the magnetic field is moving. So since the loop is stationary, the force cannot be magnetic. The force here is electric force, and thus the EMF arises because of induced electric field. So EMF here will be integration F electric dot dl bar, and we know F electric force is Q into E. So closed integration E bar dot dl bar. This is one formula for electric EMF, which is again equal to minus d phi by dt, because again the flux in the loop is changing, because when we are moving the magnetic field, the flux linked with this loop is changing and EMF is also produced. So now you might be wondering how we suddenly jumped from magnetic field to electric field. Well, that is also because of Faraday, that changing magnetic field gives rise to electric field, or we can say changing magnetic field induces an electric field. Similarly, in the third case, the loop is still, and here we are changing the strength of the magnetic field. So here the EMF arises because of induced electric field, which is produced by the changing magnetic field. So we can write this rule in terms of formula by considering this. So what exactly is magnetic flux? Magnetic flux, the formula we know is integration B bar dot dA bar, that is B dA cos theta, right? And we know E is equal to minus d phi by dt, this magnetic flux d phi m by dt. Here we can see where if the magnetic field is constant and the area is changing, then phi m will change and current will be induced. Or if the magnetic field is changing, the area is constant, then again phi m will change and the current will be induced. Or this is also constant, area is also constant, but theta here is changing, like for example the loop is rotating, then again phi m changes and the current will be induced. So now we can look at this formula, will become integration E bar dot dl bar is equal to minus d by dt of phi, that is d by dt of this will be minus integration del b bar by del t dot dA bar. This is the integral form of Faraday's law, which says changing magnetic field will give rise to an electric field. Apply Stokes theorem and we'll get the differential form, which is del bar cross E bar is equal to minus del B bar by del T. These are both important. So you have to remember this formula, this and this value of phi m. Obviously I equals to epsilon upon R also. So now we have seen. Now what about the direction of current which is produced in the loop? The direction of current produced in the loop can be found by using Lenz's law. What is Lenz's law? It says that it says that nature abhors a change in flux. What does this mean? Let's consider this loop which is present in the magnetic field which is moving into the plane. Let this much distance, that is the distance, the amount of length of the loop inside is x, this height is h, magnetic field is going into, and we are calling this loop ABCD or ABDC. What does nature abhors a change in flux mean? It means that the induced current will flow in such a direction that it will try to cancel the change in flux or the change in magnetic field. That is, if the magnetic field or the flux through the loop is increasing, the current will be induced in such a direction that it will try to decrease this magnetic field. Or if the magnetic field or the flux through this loop is decreasing, then the current will be in such a direction that it will try to increase this magnetic field. Let's consider case 1. There are two ways of looking at this. First we'll consider the directions. Call this the x, y and the z direction. Okay. Now, let's say we have the loop moving out. Loop is moving in this direction with velocity v. So the velocity is in the y hat direction. The magnetic field is going into the plane, that is the minus x hat direction. So we know force, magnetic force is v bar cross b bar, that is y hat cross minus x hat. Y cross minus x will be z hat. Z hat means upwards, that is the force here is upwards for positive charges, but the current is in the same direction as the motion of positive charges or opposite to the direction of negative charges. So this is the direction of current which is induced in the loop. That means it will go like this, which is I induced will be in the clockwise direction. Second way to consider this, if the loop is moving outwards, this x is decreasing, right? When this x is decreasing, the amount of magnetic field, that means the amount of flux which is linked with this loop is decreasing. Since that is decreasing, the current will be induced in such a direction that it will try to increase this magnetic field. And the only way to increase a magnetic field is to produce a magnetic field in the same direction. So the current will be induced in such a way that the magnetic field produced by this current will be in the same direction as the external magnetic field that is going into the plane. I point my fingers inwards, I point my thumb inwards, curl my fingers which go like this. So the induced current will be in the clockwise direction. I hope you got that. The second case, let's consider that the loop is moving inside. Now the loop is moving inside and we don't know the current direction. That is, V is along minus y hat direction. The magnetic field is as it is, minus x hat direction. So the force here will be V bar cross B bar, that is minus y hat cross minus x hat, that will be minus z hat direction. Minus z hat means downwards. So along DC, which is the part which is inside this region, magnetic field region, it will be forces downwards for positive charges, that is this is the direction of the current. So the current will move in the anti-clockwise direction. The other way of looking at this will be, the loop is moving inside, that is this region x is increasing. It will be this and it is this region distance x is increasing. That means the magnetic flux, or we can say the external or this magnetic field which is linked with this loop is also increasing. Therefore, the current will be induced in such a direction that it will try to decrease this magnetic field. And in order to decrease this magnetic field, this current will produce a magnetic field which will be in the opposite direction to this magnetic field. So if I take here, the magnetic field is going inwards, right? So this current will produce a magnetic field which will be opposite to this. That means our magnetic field because of this current should come outwards. Curl your fingers, current will be along anti-clockwise direction. Let's look at a problem. We have a small wire, a small loop of wire of area A which is 0.01 meter squared and n number of turns, that is 40, and the resistance is 20 ohms. It is initially kept in a uniform magnetic field B in such a way that the field is normal to the plane of the loop. We can consider the field to be like this. Then it is pulled out of the magnetic field and a total charge Q, which is 2 into 10 raised to minus 3 coulombs, will appear or flow through the coil. We have to find the magnitude of this magnetic field B, just the magnitude. Now here it has not given us any information about the velocity, so we can forget this formula B bar cross B bar dot dl bar. So forget this. Now we know current I is equal to EMF divided by R. EMF is minus 1 by R minus d phi by dt. This will be equal to, since there are n number of turns, the formula for EMF is minus d phi by dt. But for n number of terms, it will become minus n into d phi by dt. So we will have here minus n by R d phi by dt. That will be minus n by R integration del B bar by del T dot dA. The current I is dq by dt. dq by dt minus n by R integration del B bar by del T dot dA. N is the number of turns, that is 40. Resistance is R, which is 20. This is minus sign. Del B means we can consider that as the change in magnetic field. Final magnetic field, then initial magnetic field. Finally, we are taking it out of the loop, right? So final magnetic field will be 0 and initially it is having B magnetic field into dA. dA is the area. Area of the loop is 0.01 meter squared. The units are right. We can remove this del T dq, or we can consider it as a total charge Q, that is only 2 into 10 raised to minus 3. Solve all this, you'll get minus 2 2s are 2 and 2, and then we'll get B is equal to 1 into 10 raised to minus 3 Tesla. 10 raised to minus 3, right? This is 10 raised to minus 5, sorry. This is also 10 raised to minus 5. So this will be minus 5 and minus 2, then it will become 10 raised to minus 3 Tesla. Or you can just remember this formula. The charge Q will be equal to magnitude of change in flux. We only need the positive value divided by, or phi initial minus phi final, whatever, divided by the resistance. You will get the value of Q. So this is the value of magnetic field. Let's do one more problem. We have a metal rod AB which rotates clockwise in the plane of the paper or in the plane of the board about its end B with angular velocity omega. There is a magnetic field which is coming out of the plane of paper normally. The end B about which the rod rotates is positive with respect to end A or negative with respect to end A. How do we find that? Here we are going to use our left hand rule. Consider the rod to be, after rotating, let's say the rod comes here. This is end B and this is the end A of the rod. It is going in this direction with angular velocity omega. Here we will use our left hand rule. What left hand rule says is, point the index finger in the direction of the external magnetic field. in the direction of the magnetic field which is coming out. So we'll have magnetic field in this direction. The middle finger in the direction of the velocity. If we consider the rod which is moving in the clockwise direction with angular velocity omega, we can consider this point to move in, to have a velocity towards the right. And so magnetic field outwards, velocity towards the right, that is this way, and the thumb will point in the direction of the force. So thumb is pointing downwards. So the force is downwards. The force is downwards for positive charges. Therefore, B will be more positive with respect to A. This is the left hand rule. Now we'll also look this using the Lorentz force law. That was F is equal to Q V cross B. Again, we'll take the direction of velocity, same direction. Consider these as my axis, X, Y and Z. So this is positive charges. Here we saw that force is acting downwards, B is positive and A is negative, or B is more positive with respect to A, right? Therefore, velocity is along that direction, that is Y hat. Cross magnetic field is coming out, that is X hat. What is Y cross X? Minus Z hat. Therefore, the force is acting downwards since we took Q as positive. So therefore, here we'll have positive charges and we'll have negative charges. Therefore, B will be more positive with respect to A. Now we will stop here and we will continue the remaining stuff in the next part. Peace be upon you.